What's up, everybody? I don't have organized talking points today, so I just kind of want to freestyle with you a dialogue regarding this seeming competition between whether you're investing in real estate or investing in a business. And wanted to share a little bit of my perspective. That's all this is. It's just an opinion conversation today. But all I can share with you are some of my experiences. And personally, I question the overwhelming value of real estate investing. Now, that may come as a bit of a surprise. We talk often on this channel about investing in real estate. Make no mistake, I love real estate investing. It's something that I find enjoyable, but it's not for the faint of heart. It's a lot of challenges that, quite honestly, one could easily argue it's not that great. The whole termites and toilets and tenants argument is real. Right now, I have a rental property that I'm looking at putting about $50,000 worth of upkeep into. My hope is that it'll make it worth somewhere in the neighborhood of $75,000 to $100,000 more valuable. But the plan is to potentially sell that property and move that money via 1031 into additional investments. The property has done very well for me, but business has always done better. So maybe it would help if I shared a little bit of my background, and I'm not sure how often I tell, some of these details because it's, who really cares? But some of you might be interested to see where we began and how we got to where we are, and it's an interesting journey because of the simple fact that we chose to pioneer an industry that didn't really exist, which, looking back, may have been somewhat foolish. And that's why I want to talk with you guys about the type of person that you're going to choose to be. And if you don't choose carefully, you might end up somewhere you don't want to be. And that's what happened to me. So in the early 2000 to be exact, I was invited to come into the mortgage industry, and I was trained by some heavy hitters that saw potential in me. I was at the time making $100,000 a year. I've never worked and earned less than $100,000 per year working for myself, and that was coming out of a canvassing position for ADT. So I was working door knocking, right? It was a very terrifying position, I'll tell you that much, but was doing well financially, and I reluctantly came into the mortgage business super undereducated about money. I came out of school just as uneducated as anybody else. I'd screwed my credit up on campus at 18 years old. I remember I got my first Discover card, not really understanding anything about it other than that they seemed really excited to give it to me. They gave me $1,000. I was just talking about this, that it felt like free money. One of the quick starters that I had a conversation with, we were discussing yesterday that because we don't have proper knowledge, we're not even maliciously abusing. We're just ignorantly abusing credit. And for that reason, I came into this industry really unprepared. I'm not even sure I knew what a mortgage was, as embarrassing as that is. We did really well in spite of that. Trained, studied. I actually ended up managing to get in when the industry was so hot that we had a phenomenal tool chest of resources where bankers and underwriters all wanted to come in and teach. So I became fascinated with this information about money, how to borrow. I became fascinated with credit and just obsessed over those topics. Now, because of my effort in getting well trained and becoming an expert on certain subjects that were valuable to a lot of people, I was able to start finding ways of monetizing that in business. And we've done that from the very beginning, from back in 2002, we diversified from just offering mortgage loans to then offering assistance with credit as well. And that really kind of took on a life of its own until about 2005, when through our travels and being invited on a number of different financial talk shows and radio programs, we started to hear of some of these more advanced techniques that you see me teaching now. So over the past 13 plus years, we've just been consuming absolutely everything we can, which has become really valuable to a lot of you guys, right? If you can leverage me and all of these little things I'm picking up on because I'm studying this stuff all day, every day, then that's valuable to not just me through being able to actually market that to people that need it, but it's valuable to you because then you can use it in your life. So it's really this great, healthy ecosystem. Now, when I compare that to my real estate investing, which started in the early 2000s, it's a toss-up. Okay, my real estate investing has done well, but everything we've been capable of with business has significantly outperformed going out and buying rental properties, right? Which is my preferred form of real estate investing. Now, there are many ways of making money in real estate. I have fixed and flipped. I don't prefer to. I think there are too many risk exposures that are there that I would prefer to avoid. I am, by and large, a very conservative person when it comes to money. I teach a balance between being aggressive and being super safe about strategically designing your banking. When people hear aggression, they sometimes confuse it with risk. That's not how this works. Were people on horse and buggies safer or in a more dangerous place than people who are riding in cars? Cars, of course, are dangerous, but we follow the rules of the road. So by doing that, we feel that obviously leveraging the right way is well worth that risk that's there. And if I were asked, I would argue that doing things the traditional way and managing your money through the banks the way we're taught, or by default we end up doing it because of a lack of education, that's far more risky. Isn't it riskier to not understand how to use your credit the right way? Isn't it riskier to not understand how to borrow for things that we're taught we should borrow for, like mortgages, the right way? Isn't that riskier? Isn't it riskier to go to work for somebody from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. And do that for 40 years so that you can retire on 40% of what you were earning, give up the best years of your life? I think that's riskier. So, going into business was never a question. The question really was, okay, which one's going to perform better? And maybe going into business in real estate, right? As a full-time investor or a full-time professional, perhaps retail agent, or continuing with the mortgage professional side of things. So all these questions surrounded, our decisions, and that's a good thing to have. A lot of choices was a good thing to have. And you have all these choices too. It may not feel like it, but you do. So I was looking at this and saying, okay, fixing and flipping was a little too dangerous for me, a little too uncertain. If the market turns really quickly and I'm in the middle of a project, it can wipe me out. So long-term buy and hold investing was always what I favored the most, because I like the idea of residual and progressive income. Now, we're going to be dropping a video talking about progressive income. It's a new phrase I would encourage you guys to consider using versus passive income, because any choice you have is going to require a proactive approach. You've got to take action or none of it works. Nothing will work without your effort. The question is how much effort is required. And that's why I like the term progressive income, because it's always about progressing and creating maximum efficiency. Okay, so I'm looking at the maximum efficiency potential of real estate buying and holding properties and earning $300, $400, $500, $600. Some of my best properties up to $900 or $1,000 per month in net cash flow. And then I look at the progressive income possibilities of owning businesses, and the businesses that have performed for us have been affiliate-based businesses, online marketing-based businesses, and of course, our financial education and coaching or mentorship business. And, they were all very difficult to build. They all required a ton of upfront effort. And after that effort was put in, they all performed differently. And I guess, where I found myself was in certain places realizing I didn't like where I was heading, and I had to make adjustments to what I was doing. I didn't like fixing and flipping, so we adjusted to buy and hold in real estate. I didn't care for the mortgage side of finance, so we started to actually work exclusively on the credit and then helping people actually borrow the right types of capital. That was a huge improvement for our lifestyles. As we began to develop that, I found myself on the road traveling to teach in as many as 3 cities a week. And that was happening the bulk of the weeks of each month, which meant, I started to really get burned out. So I wanted to talk quickly with you about, figuring out what it is you want first before you decide which one's going to pay the best. Okay. So don't do anything related to business for the sole purpose of money. the first thing that I didn't understand for myself was just how important geographical mobility was to me. And I had to start to pinpoint who I am and what I'm really looking for in life. And geographical mobility, having the freedom to move anywhere I want, whether it be for short periods of time or extended periods of time, was super, super important. And I had to say, well, why is that? Well, there's big reasons. Number one, family. So I have a lot of family in Colorado, but I also have a lot of family in other places of the country. And I wanted to see family anytime I want. I don't want restriction anytime I want to see loved ones. Number two is just general ability to have impact. So I've always been a big volunteer person. You know, I love helping the homeless. That's really my big calling. But I've also gotten into natural disaster relief, and I wish I'd done more. But I was able, after Katrina, my biggest stint on this was staying 3 months in New Orleans in the Ninth Ward in a tent. And it was a life-changing experience, as you might imagine. So I want to be able to do as much of that kind of stuff as possible, but I also love to travel for fun, for cultural reasons, for selfish reasons. And so that was a huge thing for me in being able to travel. But also creativity and impact were huge on my list. Some of you may not yet know me very well, but I played the cello for 10 years from the age of 4 until 14. Still think of it as the most beautiful instrument on the planet. Huge music guy, love music and all types except country. I also am an artist as well. I loved drawing growing up using various types of mediums. When I got to college, I did a little bit of painting. Actually, I'll show you guys. Why don't you come with me? I know, it's weird. We're entering into the bathroom live together here. So this is a painting I did for my grandparents. I've since gotten that back, unfortunately. And then this is a painting that I did. This was one of my favorites. Mostly reproduction study stuff. I don't, I didn't come up with a lot of that. I just kind of reproduced it. So, creativity is a big thing. And that's when I was finding myself traveling on the road. I guess what I'm getting at is I just didn't care for the lifestyle. I was in airplanes and stuffed into Ubers all the time. And I wasn't getting anything that I really wanted. And interestingly enough, we had actually hired and paid for what started as 3 and then grew to 5 staff members who were actually arranging and coordinating those events. It takes a lot of work to go out onto 3 stages a week to various audiences around the country, okay? So here I was actually getting what I was asking for and paying for, and I was miserable. I was just getting burned out. So I made a quick adjustment with the team. We all came together and we decided that we could get what we wanted by focusing more of our time and energy here with you on YouTube. And so from December of 2016 until now, you'll see a significant shift in our efforts. And so that's how entrepreneurship works. That's how it works in real estate too. Everything that you want to pursue as an investor or as an entrepreneur requires constant adaptation, constant shifting. And I would encourage those shifts to be centered around what you actually want in life. If what I wanted in life was geographical freedom, if I wanted to have freedom of time, I couldn't have the obligation to be stuck on the road. And so by making those adjustments quickly, I was able to actually create a formula with my team and very much because of them, something that would work perfectly for my ideal lifestyle. So you have to start with that ideal lifestyle in mind and then reverse engineer. Because of those objectives for me, where I didn't want to be stuck on the road or I didn't want to be confined or isolated geographically, real estate also has had its less than perfect appeal for me. This is why I'm not overtly aggressive with real estate in general, because I can concentrate a small amount of time into projects that produce everything that we want, or I can concentrate that same amount of time and sometimes even more time with feet on the ground, in the Denver metro area. I've only invested in my own backyard as of now. I'm not opposed to investing out of state, but to do that requires a whole lot more competence to give me the confidence to do it so that I can be consistent about it. And that'll be part of the video that we're going to be dropping. But I want to make sure that, whatever I'm focusing on, I'm not compromising who I am and what my why is. So I know that conversations about the why are frequent and quite frankly abundant, but we have to acknowledge the cliches are cliches for a reason. So you got to find your why. If your why is to be involved in something that you're completely off track from accomplishing, then how do you expect you'll ever get there? Your steps have to match your desired destination, or it won't work. So I wanted to speak briefly with you about that today. That, listen, if you want to get into real estate, do it because you love it, but it is a slow path to wealth. I was talking about Brendan Burchard earlier. This is an individual that was recommended to me by Kellyanne. Kellyanne has studied as an apprentice under him for a number of years, and she made me aware of him. I started studying him here on YouTube not long ago, and I just love the concepts that this guy teaches. Super helpful. And, you know, he talks a little bit about smart goal setting. And I would encourage you to look up that video, because smart goal setting is kind of for wusses. And I've been a wuss. You know, I've been that guy that didn't always want to shoot for the moon, and if I miss, I'll land on a star, or whatever that stupid saying is. He actually encourages people to have those dreams. You know, dream about putting a man on the moon. Dream about putting a man on the moon. Dream the impossible. And I was encouraged to dream the impossible. I went from putting $1 million per year when I was 27 years old to putting $5 million per year on a piece of paper that I put all over my house, my computer, again, the mirror, the fridge, my car, everywhere that I would see it, because of a mentor. A mentor said, no, you've got to at least 5x that number. It's too small. And I thought to myself, $5 million a year. You know, there are many professional athletes don't get paid that amount of money. It's crazy that is. But nonetheless, I did it anyway. I put 5 million, and it, you know, looking back now, it's just crazy because I don't even think of that number as large. Now I'm not there yet. Full disclosure, I'm building to that. We're 7 figures per year, and we, for many reasons, choose to stay super small. But you know, I'm getting past some of my own obstacles and hurdles as well. And there's always room for growth for all of us. And I want to grow with you guys. So the question I guess I'm asking you guys today is, in a roundabout way, of course, which do you prefer? I mean, where do you see the greatest potential with entrepreneurship and growing a business? Because I see the potential of entrepreneurship and growing a business to tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions, and in some even anomaly cases, billions of dollars. I see the income, or, you know, the income potential really about real estate in the, you know, millions, maybe tens of millions per year, but even that's a little bit of a stretch. Again, anomaly cases. So if I'm going to put my effort in, and real estate's going to geographically restrict me and create certain obligation, whereas I don't have any of that now, you know, I guess I would rather explore all types of income, including real estate. And I want real estate to be a portion of what I'm doing. But I have found that real estate is tremendously easier once you've successfully identified income streams other than real estate that are successfully earning you large amounts of cash flow. When you have large amounts of cash flow, your debt to income ratio requirements are more favorable to the lenders. Your credit scores are usually much better because you don't have any debt. Lots of reasons that you're in kind of, you know, an advantaged position when your finances are really strong and you're trying to get into real estate. So again, if I could go back, I would do it the same way. I would start by building a business, and that business is hard. We've had years where we lost tens of thousands of dollars. Even though we've never earned less than $100,000, that wasn't always net. You know, there were times where we had tremendous losses in the early stages, and we even got into a $400,000 total amount owed to build the business. This one business, the way that it is, $400,000. Now I look at that and go, okay, well, I could borrow $400,000 to buy 4 $100,000 houses, or 2 $200,000 houses, or, you know, one $300,000 and one $100,000 house. I mean, borrowing a mortgage is the same as borrowing for a business. But this business has grown into 7 figures. How many pieces of property would I have to own, and how much debt would I have to have in order to grow into a 7-figure real estate business? That's a big business. Now, and what I'm talking about is 7 figures profit. Okay, I'm not talking about 7 figures in terms of how much you borrow, because it's easy to get to $1 million worth of debt in real estate, but to actually earn 7 figures a year in profit from real estate that's a big portfolio of buy and hold properties. So again, I'm looking at the maximum trajectory or maximum efficiency, or what we're calling progressive income, all the time. And we're comparing and contrasting and determining how we're going to focus our energies. And so I would just encourage you guys to focus your energy where you see it fitting your lifestyle the best. Now, as always, I appreciate you guys joining me. Comment below. Do you prefer real estate? Do you prefer entrepreneurship? No right or wrong answer here, just sharing my personal experiences. And also, one thing about comments, I just want to let you guys know if there is unnecessary profanity, which again, I'm not so uptight I can't handle profanity, but if this is an unproductive version of profanity, comments are gone. If there's any hate, negativity toward other people, if you're not community based, and again, productively based, where we're opening up conversation, we love people challenging our philosophies because we don't have a dog in the race. We're just trying to figure out the best way of going about managing income and expenses and cash flow and how we bank and borrow, just as much as you guys are trying to do that. So we hope to continue to be a resource for you. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, of course. If you like these live videos, again, I don't do a lot of them. I don't know, they're pretty fun. A little bit nerve-wracking. It kind of feels like public speaking again, which is always exciting. So thanks. If you like it, drop a thumbs up. It lets me know that you want me to do more of them. The last one went really, really well. Great interaction. We'll see you on the next video. Until then, make it a great day. Take care. Bye, guys. I got to figure out how to turn these off now. All right.